All right, so there we go live. Hi, everyone. I welcome you all to Layer 5's websites meeting. That is a weekly meeting happening every Monday. So today too, it's number 4th, and that means we are once again back with all the items that are on sites and assistant and in UI UX domain. So we'll be discussing all of them. I encourage you all to go and mention anything that you're working on that is on site in this docs. That's also our meeting minutes. So I'll be dropping this link once again in chat. And so there it is in chat. Make sure you do have access to this talk. If not, you can sound off and we will make sure that you do. That said, you can write your name in the attendees list, as any number of other participants have done. And just like I said, you also can drop any item that you want to talk about. All right, so let's get started, and we will be following our tradition, and that is anyone who is new on this call, they can introduce themselves. I'll be taking a look at the newcomers. And Jason, is it the first time that you're joining Sites Call? If yes, do you mind giving your intro to the community members? And just a heads up, if you have any audio or mic issues, you can use chat as well to give your intro. So Jason, do you mind giving your intro? All right, so let's take a look at another newcomer, and that looks like Vrushab. So Vrushab, I also see you have one item, so that's fantastic. Do you mind giving your intro to the participants? Looks like Vrushab will be doing that through chat. So hi, welcome to the call, Rishabh. You can sound off through about your interest and the kind of technology that you're learning and how did you come to know about the community in chat. So thank you for joining the call. And with that, I don't think we have any more newcomer on the call. Yeah, but if I missed someone, make sure that you give your intro in chat. So we'll be starting with agenda items, and the first item is from Hargun on Meet the Maintainer blog series. So Hargun, do you mind sharing your update?
Yes, sure. All right, so for everyone's context, if we move on to the layer 5 layer5.io/blog page, you'll notice that we have an ongoing series called Meet the Maintainers, where we interview maintainers from our different repositories and get their insights on how they got started with Meshri, how they became a mentor for the particular repository, and how any new contributor starting out can make progress with Meshri. So my issue was to create a blog post for our maintainer Yash Sharma, who is the maintainer of Meshri UI repository. So I'll be sharing the preview link right here for everyone to see. Also, I'll just be sharing the PR's link. I have added all the changes that were requested in the PR, so everyone can have a look, and if they have any suggestions, you can sound off right now or even in this pull request. So that was the update for me.
Thanks. If you once show how it looks in mobile view, so
Sure.
if you make it responsive and stretch the width a little.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
Okay, so I meant to ask if you change the dimensions to responsive.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, all right. So like earlier in the day, I was taking a look at the about the author section, and it was appearing that as if the image is not centered. So but it disappears anyway in the smaller width. That's ideal. So it's taken care of. Another uh, consideration or suggestions could be that if you scroll a little and let's take a look at his favorite Meshri CLI command. So last time we discussed that we would be wrapping that inside code element. So did you also incorporate that, or do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I did that for Aditya's interview. I'll be doing that for all the other interviews as well.
No, Alexa, that makes sense. So thank you for your updates. Anyone has any feedback? All right, folks, so you can take a look at the PR through the chat box. Link is in there. Hargun, do you have any other items to share?
No, not as of now.
Thanks a lot for your updates. I'll be sharing my screen again. So then we have a couple of updates from Vidit on adding documentation for assistant components to site. Do we have Vidit on call?
Yeah,
Yep,
hi.
we do. Hi,
Let
so
me share my screen. I was working on two components for assistant documentation, and first one is for button group. Let me share the link for that website. So for button group, it is a component to group the components, group a related button together. And here is a documented overview of the button group. There is a basic usage for combining three buttons into a single component. And there are three variants. By default, it is a container. There is outline and text. We can also do a vertical grouping of the buttons, and there is a one prop we can from which we can disable elevation of the buttons, and there are different sizes. We can also there is one prop we can put a full width, so it will cover the whole screen. And there are a few guidance and tips. So there is guidance like labeling, placement, and behavior of the button group, and there is small styling and accessibility guidance also. Uh, for code, I have given the code for the all basic usage of the button group. So there is a code for basic button variants and vertical grouping and disable elevations and full width. That's all for a group button.
yeah, so great. Do you does anyone have any feedback on this?
Hi there. Have you checked out if there's a possibility of using the split button that MUI offers? I'll probably add a link on chat so you can access it and go through it.
Yeah.
But regardless, it looks good.
Yeah, for split button, I think it does not uses the button group. So it is complex to add in this. I can add if
I think before you add, we should confirm this. Like, Sudhanshu, do you think it's a good idea to have a button group that has something like a split thing?
Yeah, like it does, like it required. We are using this in Canvas also. Like with it, instead of directly doing here, I guess there is a component of split in system itself, like a split button. So I don't know the directory name, but if you search for it, like this same structure of component, this component is there. You search in system. So if it looks good and like if it's behave like this is in this material way, then you can directly reuse that and show that yeah, they use such kind of button. And if you're not, like, you can create a instead directly creating layer live layer 5, you can first create in system. But yeah, like it's a creative.
You have that link on chat with it, the assistant one.
yeah,
Probably
I
this
will
is the one
check
you're
that.
referring to. Thank you.
There is a second PR for custom tooltip, and there is an overview of custom tooltip. So basic usage of a tooltip and different positions, and we can use for disable elements and elements with a different variable breadth of the tooltip, and it can have a follow cursor. But here is comes a problem that I have asked Lee to what is the default behavior of a custom tooltip. So he said that it should be working on hover, but in when I was using while writing the documentation, so it is showing up after the click of the button. So after the initial click, it was working. Uh, After the initial click, it is working as expected on the hover. So
Yeah,
this is
there is a slight glitch. Like when you first click, it appears, and after that, it appears on over. It's this glitch is basically because of Z index. Like if have you tried wrapping it under a tape, these buttons?
yeah, I have done that, but that after that it is working fine. It is showing its default behavior.
After what it's working?
After the wrapping into the div element, it is working as expected.
Yeah, like if you try wrapping it in under a wrapper only. I have to see that it could be workable through work through system only. But yeah, like you can right now you can wrap that in a tape or something, span, kind of like prevent that glitch of ZTX. The system.
So I have also provided a guidance where different positions of the tooltip and styling and accessibility guidance, some performance tips, and under the examples for code, I have provided the basic and different positions of tooltip. And there is a variable breadth example and follow cursor and showing and hiding.
Uh,
So, and
I guess there is also an example you can put of markdown content inside tooltip. So we support like markdown related things under tooltip that appears. So if you like either in a overview or in an example, you can add that like if someone want to show markdown content like a link, right? So we support it. So you can use like a markdown content with link like as its syntax, pass it tooltip it will. So you can add as an example.
sure. So, do I have to put a div container inside example also for now, or
Uh, yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, like for now you can put, but as it in the works from system, we can remove it from it. But yeah, like for now, because if someone directly improves and doesn't find the expected behavior, then it doesn't make sense.
so that's all from my side.
Just a moment, if you could hold on. We actually have a couple of different representations of these tooltips in different areas. Some, I think MUI offers an arrow prop. So do you have that specifically mentioned somewhere else? Because you've mentioned about a lot of other things, the various props one can use, but we specifically use something with arrow and something with offset into different areas. So probably if you could scroll a bit more on top and then hover over each of these, the position elements, the positioned examples. Yes, these arrow ones. So do you have that mentioned somewhere about this arrow
So,
prop and without the arrow prop?
in custom tooltip, by default, arrow is true. So we cannot change this in this case. But in a tooltip alone, there is a option to put arrow as in true or false. By default here, it is true.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. And I guess if we have the other one, that should work. Yeah. That's all that I had. Thanks.
Thank you, Ankita. So, does anyone else have any feedback or suggestions for Vidit? We'll wait for 10 seconds.
Whether like you can, you don't need to add this prefix of custom, and like you can just put tooltips because it doesn't make sense to add a custom prefix But yeah, like the component you can just importing, you can like it will behave as it is, but you can, this heading could be only tooltips. And because custom tooltip we have named because like, it's a branding, we use the colors and theme, so we added that as custom tooltip, but you can just add the heading as like, you don't have to use custom.
Did that
And
make sense? We cannot hear you in case you are speaking with it.
No, nothing. I will work on this removing a custom.
Yeah, so you just can replace that title from basic custom tooltip to just tooltip. Is that right, Sudhanshu?
yes,
Yeah.
don't use
You
custom.
were also, you were also saying something else, Sudhanshu, if you can continue.
Yeah, like you can also mention as a guidance, as Ankita mentioned, of using arrow like props as arrow. That can be, that will go good to go in their placement. I like sorry, it's actually the position arrow. You can mention that in guidance.
So thank you for your feedback, Sudhanshu. So with it, do you have any other things to share, or these two updates?
And these two updates from my side.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I
So
have
these were
this
great.
because like with it, if you are working on this items like system, really go to the layer 5, like the code file change.
So
In the PR.
okay.
If you go to the files changed. Other thing, like every time you add a component here, like you like have to go through these 8 file changes, like under pages also you are at code.js guidance index, then again you add that component code guidance index.js. So it's kind of like a repeated repetition thing. Instead, like this thing could be dynamic, like when we add kind of any these sections, they should be dynamically navigated through these components. So there is a existing PR from one of the contributors. I think it's PRI close recently. I share the link in this chat. So if you go through that PR and take in reference and make your version of it. So if you are ready for it, it should be like more dynamic instead of creating every time these IDs.
Sure, it will be helpful.
You can create a issue first.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, Vidit and Sudhanshu. So Vidit, feel free to reach out to Sudhanshu in public Slack channels if you have more questions on the subject. All right, so then we'll be moving ahead, and the next set of items is from Nishant, and I will take a look if we have. Yeah, we do. So Nishant, do you mind going next and giving your update?
Sure, sir. Very good evening, all of you. So I am having the first pull request related to the draw section. And in the draw section, first of all, I have given the basic introduction about the draw. And after that, in overview section, I have added all the props that are present in the system draw section. Then when we go down, I have added types of draws that we can use. First of all, it is the temporary drawer, and it is not present all the time, but when you click on it, it can close and it can open when you click on it. Then second one is the menu variant drawer, which is having just the icons and not the text. You can click on the icon itself. Second is the persistent drawer, that even when you scroll down, it is still going to be present. It will still be present. And then after that, it is the permanent drawer that will always be present on the left side, right side, in whichever side do you want. And after that, I've added a basic information about adding the draws. Second comes the guidance section. In the guidance section, I've added like primary draw, secondary draw, and persistent draw. All the types of draws that are present. Then after that, labeling. basic UI UX things in this labeling part I've added. Then comes the coding part. In this, I have presented the codes of all the draws that I have presented in the overview section. So if any of you is having any changes that I can do in this draw section, then do let me know.
Yeah, if you keep scrolling till the end, and also show the show code that you have there.
Okay. So for this, I have made the whole component because I had to show how this temporary draw is working. So I've added the whole code of the component itself in here. And when we go down, I have added same applies to the mini variant because I've written the whole code.
Nishan, like these codes looks too much like, I don't think so. You are using background colors because when a user import any of the component, he just want the parent and the skeleton of the like the component, not the inside of theme, colors, everything, because they can override from itself like destroyer with 240,
Okay, so
all these styles. It should be like as a skeleton of the component, not just the whole styles and everything. And I think like, what is this the component? Drawer.
so yes, it is drawer, sir. The drawer component.
Favors use these icons also.
So I have to change
Yeah,
the
like,
icons also.
No, icons looks good. But yeah, like try to like in the code I can see that you've written the whole code, and like it looks very, honestly it looks very untidy, because if any user want to put any component here to read every colors and so make as it like the piece of code less, rather than adding so much of box shadow, because it's not for making yourself good, but user can use that component.
Okay, sir. Done. I will be
I'll
reducing the
review
amount
in
of
your-
code.
Yeah, I'll review in the code also like what can be. Yeah, looks good though, but yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so basically, Nishant, it shouldn't be, appearing as overwhelming to any user or contributor who want to implement assistant components. So it should be convenient for them to just simply take the skeleton and implement. So that's what is the gist of what Shudanshu was trying to say.
Okay, so I will make these changes and I will make these changes. So should I go to the second component or
Yeah, let's
any more
wait for
changes there?
5 to 6 seconds if anyone else have any thoughts on this drawer component.
Okay.
I don't think so. We can now go to the next update from you.
Okay, so I've added the second pull request related to the app bar section. And in this app bar section, first of all, I have again made a table defining the different props of the app bar section, and it tells about everything. Then I have added types of app bars. First is basic, then app bar with a menu, responsive app bar, then app bar with the search menu, then bottom app bar. For this, I have made a whole component because I needed to put the app bar in the bottom section. Second comes the guidance section where I have given guidance related to different navigation styles for which we can use this navbar, primary navigation, secondary navigation. And then after that, I have added labeling, which tells about the UI UX part of the ABBA section. And I have defined about case style, font weight, and content that we need to write in the app bar. Third is the code part. And here, again, I've done the same thing what I did in app bar, is that I've written the whole component itself. First comes the basic app bar, then basic app bar with a menu, which
If I
is
could
having
quickly, so there's this logo. I think that reference is broken, right? Where it says logo. You should finally see a logo there, right?
So can you please repeat, sir?
Yeah. So it looks to me as if, the reference to an image there, or maybe a 3G icon is broken there. It just says logo. I think there should be a, logo.
No, sir, I've written logo itself. I haven't added any image sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Any reasons for that? I may be missing, maybe.
Sir, I just added, I don't have any reason for that. I just wrote logo. Like if anyone wants to import any image, or if anyone wants to write any sort of text, that they can. That was the only reason why I write logo here. Then after that, this bottom app bar, it is also having the code where I've just added the icons itself and no more things are present there. So any changes that I need to do in this app bar section?
Yes, I think what Sudhanshu said for the previous one, I think that also applies for this one. I will confirm from Sudhanshu, and also like Sudhanshu, Ankita, what do you think? It's ideal for us to just display that text logo, or just works fine.
You can show like any logo representing the image. You can show layer 5 also.
Okay, sir.
It's always merrier to have a logo, Nishant. Branding
Okay,
works.
Okay, ma'am. I've
You
had layer
need
5
not
logo.
address. You need not address us as Mohammed, so that's okay.
So for this component, I have to reduce like what I had to do in the draw section. I have to do the same thing in this also.
Yep.
Okay.
I think you also have one next item to share today, right?
Yes, sir.
So do we have any more feedback on this one from anyone else on the call? Looks like
This external link in right side, is it same as it you are showing in content in the right side in the navigation?
In the navigation.
Right side, basic.
Yep, right
button.
at the top right, you can see a button and a basic written. If you move your cursor more towards the right and where the scroll bar is, outside of the content here, just the scroll bar of this entire page. Can you just take your cursor there? Yep. No, you don't need to scroll down, just go up. Just scroll up, even more. Just keep scrolling up. You're going down, Nishant.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. You can see a basic and a button here. Can you see two options? Yes. Just stay static here. Can you see near the scroll bar, there's a basic and a button?
Yeah, in green.
Yes, I can see it now.
Perfect. This is what Sudhanshu was referring to. Sudhanshu,
Okay.
please go ahead.
Yeah, just change it to what you are showing.
Okay, sir. I will be changing this font.
So thanks for these updates. I think you need to work on polishing these updates a little. So hopefully you will be incorporating sessions that Sudhanshu just offered, and we'll also be taking a look at the pull request. So great work, Nishant. Let's wait for 10 seconds if anyone else on the call has any thoughts or sessions.
Okay, so
You can check out Vidit's PRs also. Like he is doing good job in showing the code thing. I think you can take reference from his PRs.
All right, let's move on to the next item. Okay, so I'll just also ask, these were all the 3 updates that you had to show, right? Nishant?
So there's one more component that I have to show.
Yeah, please go ahead.
And the component is the avatar section that I've added. And this is the pull request.
Yeah, like I've seen this avatar. It's also a system. One thing, if you go to one of the avatar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just didn't wanted this type of like this image. Do we have the face of 5, just the face?
Yeah, we do, and I think it's available in Community Drive, and I guess also in the PDF that we have on company/brand. If not, so I can get some,
Yeah. So if you point Nishan to those 5, just the face, so you can use it in the tab. and add some background to these, like, because like a little bit more other than white, right, off white to these avatars.
Okay, sir.
So yeah, just avatar use, because these are the logos you are using in avatar. Just use some kind. I think Vivek will
Oh.
provide you with some of the 5
Yeah.
images.
Yeah, I'll be dropping in a comment on your PR, Nishant.
Okay, sir.
Any other suggestions, Anshu or anyone else?
So talking about this attribute, should I make it into a table as like I've done in the app bar and draw section, or it looks good?
No, it looks good.
Okay, sir.
You also can quickly go through guidance and code, Nishant.
Okay, sir. So talking about guidance, I have added different types of avatars, again, primary supporting avatars and notification avatars. And talking about the UI UX part, again, I have added different case styles, font weight, and content that need to be added in the avatar section. And then comes the code part.
And one thing also, like Vidit and Nishant, if you are adding system theme provider, you don't have to add this prop like initial mode, because this initial mode like is dark. It's because you are using in real file. Others will not
Oh.
use.
Okay.
So for this, or how this initial mode will be used, this can be added as a different uh, component as theme, where we can define the props what system theme provider does, and how you can pass them. Don't use in this because it's for the page you are working, just for the, not for the component itself.
Okay, so I will be adding that. I will be removing this system theme provider and is dark.
And you can also, I guess, if you are working, like there are some of the other contributors have also added system theme provider to the core codes. If you go to those all, then remove system theme provider from wrapping, because it will be wrapped in the root component.
Okay. So for this avatars with a dot batch, I have to create a custom dot batch and custom dot styles. So I've added this whole component itself in here because I needed to add that small green dot here.
Is this for the pulse, right?
So it is for this green dot
green.
that I am. Yes.
Okay. We have a principle thing. See if it has. We use elsewhere also. We'll see if we can find. So we don't have to create. But yeah, like, okay, I'll show it.
Okay.
All right, so looks good. That is all from you, Nishant, today, right?
Yes, sir.
So thanks a lot. I'll be sharing my screen. And we'll be taking items from Saurabh on having this responsive fix. So do we have Saurabh on call? Yep, we do. Saurabh, you might share.
Am I audible?
Yep, you are.
So I made some changes. So this is how the page looks. So, and also there was another page that has the same issue. That was company brand.
Saurabh, you just simply can show the deploy preview too. You don't need to be showing your local build.
Yes, sure. So
Do you want
page
me to
is
share the
no
screen?
page is not responsive.
Okay, so do you want me to share the screen? Sorry. So I'll be going ahead with sharing a screen. You can do voiceover if that helps.
Sure, sir.
I'll be also quickly giving context to everyone on the call. Okay, I happen to have, made a mistake. So it says company and then slash brand. So as you all can see, this overflowing issue that is there, and it is due to, I mean, the div that is there, I mean, the container that is there, it's not having flex wrap or any other kind of style that will prevent this behavior. And in order to fix that only, we will head over to Saurabh's fix. And we will take a look at the file changes. So suffice to say, after these changes, it's working fine. So these all wrap nicely and they don't overflow. So sort of like there are a couple of things in this PR, and the first one is you will ideally revert this change that is in package lock.json, and then
Yeah, I will remove this. It was added accidentally, so we'll remove this.
okay. And then there's also one other contributor on the call, Rishabh, who also has similar PR. So here, like if you see this opportunity row, which is a row wrapper, it already is a flex item, right? We don't need to add this. And then if you take a look at that, so it already wraps when you go lower than 760 pixels. Now we will have to evaluate a couple of things. So I'll be opening your deploy preview. And hopefully the page that we are looking for is carriers. And yeah, so basically this overflows when you are in smaller width, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'll try to. So if you see, it's like 904 pixels wide, but we are just showing it in a column manner. So I think we have ample space that if we reduce the size of these cards, we can show at least two. But the problem is we are just doing flex wrap for this whole row wrapper that is there, this row wrapper. You should it's this was added by Shubhanshu. So if you go lower than 760 pixels, it already has that wrapping thing. It should be here, but it's being overridden as you have added the flex wrap. So this is one change that you have done specifically for this row wrapper, right? And then another PR that will be up by Rushabh, and that is right here. If I open this PR, there too, in one of the row wrappers, he's adding another class, and he's giving this flex wrap property. So my point is that fixing and adding flex wrap to all these row wrappers specifically, if we could just fix the styling in the reusable row layout that we have. So you will find that in SRC, and that is then in reuse score, yeah, and then in layout. There we go. There it is, row.js. And here you can see for smaller screens, it's there already there, flex wrap. We can simply put flex wrap in here, removing this media query. But then there's also this consideration that, I demonstrated that when we have enough space, if we do flex wrap, it just shows one single card in entire row. So that also doesn't look good. It would be good if we show at least two in there. So these are some of the considerations that I had. This is also for Rushabh. So do we have Rushabh on call? Yep, we do. Rushabh, whatever I said, does that make sense to you? I think Sorry, I had to mute you. We were not able to hear you, but give this a thought if you would. So we would probably benefit from fixing similar issues across the site in different places where this row wrapper is used. So I will ask Saurabh like if this makes sense to him. Does it, Saurabh?
Yes.
Okay, there is
Yeah,
a
so that,
little bit. Yeah, like we can directly use FlexWrap. I did that too because since when we moved to Gatsby V5, so like there were there are many last contributors due to which like, there is a conflict CSS happening. So either it gets override or it doesn't works because either there would be two same class name for different components. So you can write sort of or whoever should who is like whosoever is working, you can add FlexWrap at the root, not in the media. But you have to make sure that there was some scenarios like when use directly FlexWrap to the parent component. So we want some cards to be aligned at a row and then should shrink as we go. The screen size reduces. But what was happening that it was getting squeezed and the big screen also when it was showing in the row rather than column. So that's why I added to move with Gatsby P5 for that change and added inline FlexWrap to those where we needed them. So if you do that, you have to go through each page and check that nothing is break. So that is also a concern, and you have to ensure that it doesn't take anything.
yeah, that is what my point was. So this problem is happening like across three, three individuals have reported this happening across the site. So it's worth investigating and having a single fix than just repeating ourselves at different component. Through the inline CSS. So this is something that site will benefit from, and that's why we could probably benefit from just having the style here and then also investigating where we would not need it. So, Saurabh, is this something that you can take a look into?
Yes, I will make some changes.
Yeah, and also if you would please revert this change. So I suppose that was
Can I revert this from GitHub? Like deleting files from this PR files.
Yep. You just simply can reset the commit and then you can exclude this file from being staged, and that should work. If not, if this is too much trouble, you simply can go ahead, creating a branch of master and then submitting a another pull request. I see you had trouble updating this branch specifically as on our conversations in this GitHub thread. So yeah, please go ahead with a new PR. Close this one if you want to.
Yes, I will close that.
Thank you, Saurabh.
Thanks.
And the next update is from Bushabh only, and that's also about adding that FlexWrap to the row wrapper. So Bushabh, were you able to hear the conversation? You also can go through the recording. There's some background noise from your side, Bushabh. So I think you can type it in chat. So you can go through this whatever we are discussing later. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel. So I'll be also sharing YouTube link in chat. So in the chat box, you will find it there, and it's for everyone. If you would like to, review any sections that we are discussing, you can. All right, so now let's take item from CAF. It's also about adding Systent component to the site. So do we have CAF on the call? Yep, we do.
Yeah. So let me share my screen first. So, it should be visible, I guess. Vivek, can you please confirm?
Yeah, it is. Please go ahead.
Okay. So the first one that I mentioned over here is the system driver component which I have added. So here is the driver component. It's just a preview and preview of the pull request. So here in the overview, I just added some sort of theoretical things that has been there in the driver component, and what are the variant that has been there, and how we can use it, and like how we can utilize it with different examples. So here we can use this with flex, and we can also change the orientation and what orientation like changes can do, and what are the behavior changes that we can do with the orientation horizontal and vertical. I have also provided the example over here, and with children also how we can pass children to the deriver component if we need to. So here is also the example and the accessibility and some sort of theoretical things over here. Coming to the guidance part, and here is also some sort of the variant stuff, or what are the things that's been there in the variant part, what are the props that we can pass specifically, orientation and the flex item things, and some sort of usage where we actually can use this. So here are some usage example. Back to the coding section. So here is the variant example that has been there in the overview. So I've also provided the code of this if someone want to create some sort of similar kind of component with driver, or if anyone want to just take an overview how list item can have the driver component and stuff like that. So here we can go through the provider things. Also, like as Siddhanshu told, I will make sure if I can change this one, the initial mode, just to have a consistency in all the code bases over there. Back to this example where we can have the flex item in the driver component. So I've added this example in the orientation one, how we can pass driver component with the orientation of vertical, and here is actually the code for it. Here's the example of it. And here is the with children example that is there in the overview, and here's the code for it, how we can pass specifically children into the driver component, and here is the driver component, and here is the children passed through it. So this is the driver component. So
Yeah,
that was it for the driver one. So
yeah, excellent. So if you want to scroll down till the bottom, and if you hover to the any of the paragraph, so why does it show in green, like the that detail, the divider component supports two orientations. So when you
okay.
it appears as if you are hovering over to that section,
Yeah.
highlight.
Yeah. I have noticed this by development, but I didn't caught the bug or the error. I will make sure if there might be some class that has been applied over here and which is triggering this step. So I will make sure to remove this class if but I don't think so. Like I haven't applied any class name to this. So uh, yeah, like, do you guys have any idea like why is this happening, or anyone else have faced the same problem while developing? Or
Yeah,
I will debug it if I can.
Yeah, so probably it will not, appear as it is right now, the green color, right? I mean, it doesn't have any behavior on hover to, so just simply it's a paragraph, it's a detail, and it should not mean green. I think this is something, you can take a look and fix.
Okay, yeah, got it. So, should I move to the another one?
No, let's wait for 10 seconds if Sudhanshu, Ankita, or anyone else on the call have any feedback. I think they don't for now, so they will be taking a look at your PR later. So yeah, we are good to go to the next update from you.
So the next one which I have added is the container one and the box component. So let me go through the container first. So here's the simple container that we have in the MUI part. So some types of container that we have, some theoretical things and stuff, how we can use it and what are the usage of it. Second one is the fixed container, and here is the usage. Now back to the guidance section. So in the guidance, what are the functionalities and how we can utilize this container component, and the nested container component, the labeling and stuff, the use cases and the responsive design if you wanted to make it fixed, or if you want to make it fluid or anything, something like that. We can go through the guidance part. And if we need the same example that has been there in the overview, so we have that over here, the fluid container example. And here's the code for it. So here's a system same provider, the same container and the max without SM. And here I have also explained why the how we can change the max width and what are the probabilities, or what are the props that we can actually pass in the max width, and what values can impact the changes. So here's actually the impacts and with some sort of things that we can look into what is there in the SM and how we can use this research and how we use it and some sort of things. Another example of with the max with the empty. So here, like anyone who is coming across the example, you can see that if we have vast SM, so the width size would be smaller, and if we have given empty, then the width would be bigger than SM. And similarly with HG and XR and stuff. Here we also have the fixed container example, and so, and here we can simply pass fixed as a prop, and it would be like a fixed type of container. Here we also have a nested container example where we can have container inside container and some similar sort of thing. So this is the beer that is in, it's been merged, and this is for container. Is
If
there
you
any
scroll
code?
down, if you scroll
Yeah.
down to the bottom, there was this next button. Where does that take you when you click on that?
Yeah, this one.
If you
So
if you click on
this actually takes to the about system. So and this is I'm not sure where this next button is coming from. It's the default, I guess, and maybe the wrapper that we have. Yeah. So it's not the part of this component which I've created over here.
yeah, correct.
So yeah.
Yeah, so ideally, this kind of navigation, this is possible. It's possible that this is not the ideal behavior for this next button. So, but yeah, I'll take a look into that. So, yeah, for your changes, does anyone have any feedback for Cav? So thanks a lot. These are really great updates coming from Cav.
Okay. So the another one which I've added in, let me share that as well. Okay. So now back to the box component. So the box component is similar kind of container that we can create and we can have a content into it, but it has some sort of different behavior and stuff. So here we have the box component, what is actually the box component and how we can use it, the usage part and the box component and the example. And what is actually a box component? It is nothing but a div that has been wrapped over here and which is provided by MUI and we are using it for system. And what are the assets props that has been actually there in the MUI 5, which is not available in the MUI 4. So here is some sort of description of it, what is assets prop does and how we can handle it. And here's the smaller example of it. Back to the guidance part. So here we have some sort of functioning and the responsiveness things that we can handle with the box component. Here we have a flexible layout control and some sort of usage and nested layout, some sort of theoretical things. Back to the code. So here I've provided all the example that one can create with the box component. So here is simple box component that is being created. And this is same. And here we have the styled box example where we can have where we can specifically pass styling with assets props, which is actually available in MUI 5. This is the same that we are using in system. And here we also have the responsive box example where we can have some sort of like responsiveness with the assets props. That's simple, like using CSS into the box. Back to the interactive box example. Yeah.
Observation cap. So like that white text over that background, I think it's barely visible. I think we would benefit from having another colored text there.
This one.
No,
no, if you
on
scroll
the
down.
boxes.
Okay, this one. Yeah, this can be. Yeah, I can change it to black. I guess. That. Yeah. But this one I will make sure to update this as well, and this one as well. So this is the interactive box example where we can have some sort of hover styling over here, and this can actually make this interactive. So yeah, that's it for the box code. So this was the three PR which I made, and one was merged, the container was merged, and the box and the divider is actually remaining, and it's under review. So that's it from my side for this week. Yeah, that's it.
Just a moment, Kev, if you could go back to the guidance section and then scroll right to the bottom of the guidance section.
In the divider or in the box one?
Yeah, the box one, the overview guidance
Box
and
one.
code.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Got
Yeah, the box one.
Yeah.
That's correct. Perfect. Is this the guidance section? You were mentioning something about SX being supported
SX.
on MUI v5, and then you had
Yeah.
mentioned something about it somewhere.
Yeah. This one.
Oh, so you're mentioning that they can use SX, right? I was
Yeah.
just curious what that note meant, but perfect. Thank you a
Okay.
lot.
Good.
That's some great work out there. Kudos.
Thanks, man. Good. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so plus one to the whatever Ankita said. So thanks a lot, Cav. And looks like we are on time. So that means we will be wrapping the call right here. We missed a couple of items that we'll be covering the next call. But for now, before we all end the call, I'll be sharing with you our community calendar. So if you want to get updated with all the meeting timings as they are happening, you can subscribe to the calendar, and that is by hitting that big button, yellow button. So it sends you a reminder before the calls start. Also, as the daylight saving has ended yesterday, so now all the timings are synced to this in this calendar. So if you are subscribed to it, you are all already covered. So that link to this calendar is in chat. And with that, once again, thank you for joining and participating. We'll see you all next Monday. Till